Everybody been bleeding it out so far, and when I got into it, my tires tried to hook on me, and when they started hooking, there wasn't no way out then. Wide open and see what happens.
Kind of like diving off the high dive. Once you left the line, you had to go on through it to pull.
So to the line now is Chuck Chitwood out of Lafayette, Tennessee. Chuck has named his vehicle after his video store, which he owns there in Lafayette, Fast Forward. And Army, that's exactly what he hopes he's doing down the track tonight.
He's teamed up with the Cunningham GMC sponsorship with his awesome GMC with one of the most expensive engines on the tour. Misses the weight a little bit, but he's got some good ground speed, but he's in trouble.
Smoke pouring out of the top and the bottom of the machine. Possibly blown engine right there, Chuck Chitwood. Bad luck here in Memphis, Tennessee. As a matter of fact, it has been a tough luck summer for Chuck Chitwood. Earlier during the summer, his house burned down while he and his family were away on the tour. And now, as you can see, it looks like that beautiful machine is out of commission with possibly a blown motor, oil pouring out of it onto the track.
The Red Man official, Mike Snyder, standing to my right, gave the worst sign in the world. He pointed to the bottom of the Fast Forward of Chuck Chitwood and indicated he had lost a rod or something through the bottom of the engine. Chuck, you have any idea it was going away on you? A lot of smoke coming off that right bank, but you stayed after it.
Yeah, I really don't know, Army. It's just, it could be a number of things. It could be a rod. I'll just have to tear it down and see. I just don't know.
Well, I tell you what, that's a tough break for one of the strongest pullers out of the state of Tennessee and one of the strongest GMCs in America. We'll see him again another day in a winner's circle.
And to the line now for the third time tonight, Wayne Roush, this time in a Little Red Truck. Wayne is the leader in his yellow Model T currently.
Sitting on top with a Model T, would like to give it the old 1-2 punch. He brought his engine builder with him tonight to try to dominate this competition. He's got some good ground speed. Let's see what's going to happen.
Wayne Roush, you saw how intense he is as he comes down the track. Not a great pull, 277.94 feet. He continues to lead, though, and he is with Army.
We told you the story about Wayne Roush. He carries 2 bullets with him on the Red Man Tour. Currently, the 23 Ford was a leader. Wayne, this one just went a 277, put you number 3, so right now you're sitting first and third. How are we feeling?
Feeling good, and I don't think we hurt the motor in this one, so that's doubly good.
Roush trying to stay alive in Memphis, Tennessee on the Red Man Tour.
And to the line now, David Steph out of Louisville, Kentucky, one of 2 Louisville drivers here tonight. David is driving Temptations.
Temptations sets a little bit taller than the rest of the trucks on the tour, and that's not the right combination, Richard. He's having all kind of problems as he's trying to get out his 300-foot Memphis track.
And what would cause him to veer there to the left?
The truck is just not biting consistent. The engine popped on him a little bit. 220 feet, not the distance I know he was looking for.
No, as a matter of fact, David Steph is going to be heading back to Louisville later this evening without a win tonight. Another Louisville driver is due up next, a guy by the name of Jim Lyons. And Army, he's got quite a background.
3 times national champion in this sport. He was Puller of the Year last year. Lyons looking awfully strong on this Red Man Tour.
Well, earlier this afternoon in Memphis, Army Armstrong spent time with Jim Lyons.
You know, in motorsports, you hear a lot of American stories. Jim Lyons out of Louisville, Kentucky, kind of atypical. In the 50s, the generation of the 50s, cruising the boulevards of Louisville, Kentucky. In the 60s, became very heavily involved in the sport of professional drag racing and won a world championship. The 70s, he progressed on up into engine building, running his own engine shop and chassis shop, specializing a whole lot in the sport of circle track racing. In the 70s, he teamed up with a group of men out of Tennessee, Alfred Turner and Milton Bulls, to fill 2 of the strongest GMC trucks in America. In the 2-wheel drive category and the modified 4x4 category, Jim Lyons has won 5 national championships on the TNT Red Man Tour. He was also voted Puller of the Year last year by the pullers themselves. Jim, what possessed you in this progression to get involved in the sport of professional truck and tractor pulling?
Army, these boys out of Gamelia, Kentucky, Stitches Incorporated, they called me, want me to do a motor for them, and I did a motor for them, and then later on they called me, want me to take the truck and pull it. They'd done so good with it, and they didn't have time to go, so they sent me pulling. And it just progressed on to where I eventually took the trucks and done all of it myself. I built a new 2-wheeler for them. We've run it. We've been super successful with it.
Well, now, the 2-wheeler, the rules specify with the 2-wheel class, the engine must stay in a stock location. You had actually played around with the 2 and the 4-wheeler of actually turning the engine and so on and so forth. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
We had one truck with a motor in it sideways, and it took so much horsepower to pull the cross box for the gear ratio that we never could get it to work. The truck worked super, but we couldn't find enough horsepower to pull the angle drive that we had in it.
Well, what do you think, being on the threshold of this sport, what do you think the future has in the sport, both in the 2-wheel drive super category and the modified 4x4?
Well, the way it's looking, we're going to have to go more horsepower and bigger motors, so we're up to 750 cubic inch on the cubic inch limit now on the four-wheeler, so we're going to have to go to there.
Okay, 3 national champions in the two-wheel drive category, puller of the year. What is in the future for Jim Lyons on the Redman Tour in 1988?
I can't guarantee nothing. I hope, but, you know, I can't guarantee a thing because there's a lot of good trucks out here. All the guys run super good. They're strong, and everybody's keeping up their equipment and making them run right.
Well, kind of an American success story. A couple of successful businessmen out of Tennessee team up with a bluegrass puller, and Jim Lyons has made them #1. The Stitches team, one to always watch on the Redman Tour.
And we'll be back to watch Jim Lyons pull in just a moment.
Extravaganza, Evel Knievel's son Robbie looks to set the record straight by successfully leaping the fountains at Caesar's Palace.
I'll hopefully do it no hands like I do all my jumps. Look, Dad, no hands.
Friday, April 14th, live only on pay-per-view cable TV.
Wish me luck.
Call your local cable operator for more information.
And back in Memphis, Tennessee, to the line now. Out of Louisville, Kentucky, Jim Lyons, a 3-time national TNT champion in the two-wheel drive vehicles, driving Stitches, of course, the pull to beat tonight. Thus far is Wayne Roush's yellow Model T pull of 296.85 feet. Jim Lyons is off and running.
Lyons rolls the throttle. He'll pull the trigger about the 75. He pulled the trigger and nothing happened, Richard.
He just let off the throttle, violently jerking midway down through the track. Jim Lyons with a pull of only 271.60 feet. He is trackside with Army.
One of the premier drivers in the sport, Jim Lyons, just had to backpedal at half track to keep the Stitches GMC in bounds. Jim, what caused the truck to sky on you at half track?
I missed the weight a little bit, and then, I don't know, we got a spider locked up in the rear end, I'm sure, because I had the trouble last night, so I think that's the problem there. It was just a rear end bad.
I'll tell you what, he stayed after it. You know, amazing in this sport, once you leave that starting line, you got to go. He had to backpedal, got back in it. He's still going to get some points on the Redman Tour.
And now we're down to our final vehicle of the night, Billy Johns out of Adairville, Kentucky, a 58-year-old farmer. There's a story behind this machine. The Willie Make It colors there. The first time his wife saw these colors, she called him Swirly Muldowney after Shirley Muldowney, the drag racer that runs the same colors, and he's off and running.
Tremendous ground speed for early model Willis. It's still alive and well in Memphis, Tennessee on the Redman Tour.
Billy Johns, even though he's high in the air, has got a good pull going. Is it enough to beat Wayne Roush? No, the word comes 289.53 feet. Good enough for second place tonight, though, for Billy Johns, who is trackside with Army Armstrong.
You know, years ago, you'd only see a 40 Willis in the sport of drag racing. Not so. Billy Johns just puts this rascal in the #2 spot on the Redman Tour this evening. Super run, and you drew it at the bottom of the field.
Thank you. I was well pleased with my run.
Well, by drawing at the bottom of the field this evening, do you think that affected the moisture of the track? Did it ever come around? We've been watching that all evening long.
I don't believe the track changed. I moved weights around quite a bit after watching some of the other pullers. That helped me quite a bit.
Well, I tell you what, congratulations go to the gentleman with one of the prettiest vehicles on the pulling circuit. Willie Make It finished second tonight in Memphis.
And when we come back to Memphis, we'll take another look at the top 2 pulls tonight. See the competition over for the night, and as you've seen already, the competition very, very close on the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series as sophisticated vehicles pull an equally sophisticated sled. Now that means an accurate measuring device is needed on the circuit. Here's Army Armstrong to explain how the laser measuring device works.
You know, it's amazing in the sport of professional pulling how the competitors will travel thousands of miles to compete, but it all comes down to the nearest 1/1000th of a foot. The electronic laser measuring device was brought into the sport about 3 years ago. The way it works, very simple. On the front of the sled, a prism is located about 8 feet in the air. Once the pull is completed and the sled stops, the laser operator will shoot a beam into the prism. The beam will bounce back 2 figures. One's a distance, one's an angle. They put that into a computer. We can read out the nearest 1/1000th of a foot measuring distance to find out who will be the leader on the Redman Tour.
So that is how they measured during the competition. Here's how they measured up tonight in Memphis. In 5th place this evening, Chuck Chitwood, and it was a very expensive 5th place finish.
The 5th place shot will help him in points, but I tell you what, it cost him about a $30,000 engine to do it, Richard.
4th tonight to Wayne Roush in his red vehicle, and 3rd place tonight went to the current 3rd place person in the point standings, Mike Stowe.
Stowe is on a tear chasing these points.
2nd place tonight went to a crowd favorite, though, Billy Johns out of Adairville, Kentucky in Willie Make It. We're going to take a look at that 2nd place finish pull, and that's just a great-looking machine, isn't it?
The beautiful 40 Willis comes back to life. For years, it was on a drag strip. It's sat in a barn for a while, and now it's back out, and believe me, it is beautiful. He told us in a post-race interview that he watched the other drivers to see where they put their weight, and that's what helped him. You'll notice here, tremendous amount of ground speed. Watching the other drivers pay dividends to finish number 2 for John.
Well, even though Billy got high in the air toward the end of the pull, it was a good enough distance for 2nd place tonight. But once again, your winner, Wayne Roush out of Dublin, Ohio. He is your current national points leader. Pulls off another win tonight. This one in his yellow Model T, probably one of the premier vehicles on the circuit.
Roush teamed up with Tim Engler to design a new chassis to chase these Red Man points down. And I tell you what, Richard, he's going to be tough to beat the rest of the year. He's taking his engine builder on tour. As you explained, he runs 2 vehicles on the tour. This one is your national points leader. He's won from California to Memphis chasing these Red Man points.
And you can see the intensity on Wayne's face as he heads down the track. This a replay of the winning pull, and he had everything working for him.
Had the weight set exactly perfect. The second run on it, remember, he turned the first pull down and came back to take this one. It worked for him.
Now, what is the smoke that comes out from underneath the engine compartment?
They call that blubber tube. It's just an overflow of heat.
So, of course, safety precautions there on these vehicles. Your winner tonight, Wayne Roush. But one guy that did not finish well tonight, Jim Lyons, 2nd in the point standings, had a rough night tonight.
Lyons is going to have to kind of go back to Louisville, Kentucky, regroup. But believe me, before the year's over, you're going to see Stowe, Roush, and Lyons in a 3-way battle for these Red Man Championship points.
So that'll do it from Memphis, Tennessee. We will see you down the road on the Red Man TNT All-American Pulling Series circuit. Along with Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leake. So long, everyone.
Join us next time